Coming up on First at 4, Governor Andy Beshear visits Laurel County for the first time since the shooting along I-75. We'll hear from him and have the latest on the manhunt. Plus, Senator Rand Paul is reintroducing a plan to help the government save money.
And in the world of weather, cooler today as compared to yesterday, but now rain chances are in the forecast. Details in a few minutes.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, Governor Andy Beshear was in Laurel County early this morning responding to the I-75 mass shooting on Saturday. WYMT's Amelia Lee is live in Laurel County. Amelia, what did the governor have to say this morning?
Well, Steve, Governor Beshear solidified the fact that manhunt is continuing today, and it is Thursday now, so day 6 of that manhunt. During his news briefing this morning, Beshear said that he is supporting, he's thinking about those victims of the shootings as well as their families and the community that is continuing to be affected. He said that, again, this manhunt is continuing into day 6 as officers continue to search for the suspect, Joseph Couch.
These things aren't supposed to happen, but they seem to happen far too often.
A line of folks working on the case was at the back of the London Community Center as Governor Beshear addressed the Commonwealth on Thursday. He says the direct ground search continues, as does help from aircraft operations and canines, saying that the grounds crew is putting their lives on the line in each of the searches.
We got to set an example that you will be brought to justice here, but we also have to make sure that people don't see notoriety or celebrity in these types of things.
As officers work to find Couch, officials say they appreciate any reliable knowledge from the public, as there is still a $35,000 reward for information that leads to the arrest of the suspect.
One is the direct on-the-ground search, and the other's tips that come in that are investigated. The idea is if he would have left the area, then you get a tip at some point that you can corroborate.
Again, Beshear says that these officers are putting their lives on the line every single day that they go out for the search during this manhunt. He also said that this is the newest information we have as of right now. We know that 4 of the victims are out of the hospital and that 5th victim is expected to survive. In Laurel County, Amelia Lee, WYMT Mountain News.
All right, Amelia, thank you very much. And Amelia's been on the ground there since the very beginning, and WYMT is continuing to keep in contact with local officials and officers so we can update you as soon as more information is released. We are also hearing from a witness who was driving on I-75 at the time of the shooting Saturday, as he tells Jamie Mays he feels like it's a miracle that he and his wife escaped unharmed.
Shots hit all around from what we could tell, and we were okay.
Matt Lorimer and his wife were driving down I-75 Saturday evening near exit 49 when he heard loud pops coming from outside the car.
We were like, what is going on? And it was that loud.
Lorimer says he soon found out those loud pops were gunfire. He heard what sounded like roughly a dozen shots.
We've driven through there 1,000 times. We have friends that when they go through Laurel County, you know, they turn off on that exit. They drive through there all the time. So our mind didn't immediately go to, hey, someone's trying to shoot at us.
Kentucky State Police confirmed suspected gunman Joseph Couch opened fire at drivers passing by on I-75, injuring 5 people and damaging about a dozen cars. But Lorimer and his wife made it out without even a scrape.
We believe it's a miracle. To hear that much gunfire, to hear the thuds all around us, and not one, I mean, we looked over the car, we could not find a bullet hole.
Lorimer says the situation has made him realize how much life can change in an instant, and how grateful he is to still be alive.
To be right there in the middle of it and not to have anything, we feel very blessed.
It was Jamie Mays reporting. Well, we have an update on an incident in Hazard yesterday that prompted lockdowns at several schools. This was, of course, breaking at this time yesterday. It was originally thought that a bullet may have hit a vehicle around exit 59. Hazard police now say that after a thorough preliminary investigation, they believe no shooting took place and there is no danger to the public. The Sheriff's Department posted on Facebook today that it appears a bullet found on a vehicle was possibly picked up from the highway or has some other origin and was not a fresh fired round. Perry County schools were closed today as a precaution, but will be on regular schedule tomorrow.
Well, we were cooler today as compared to yesterday with highs in the upper 70s and low 80s. The big change, though, we had a lot of cloud cover push through, and that's exactly what's going on right now. Take a look outside. We're seeing temperatures in the mid to upper 70s from Hazard up to Jackson, 77 in Irvin, 80s from Moorhead over towards Prestonsburg. Pikeville's at 78, Clintwood's at 76, 75 Harlan, as well as Middlesboro, 73 in Williamsburg, 74 in Monticello. There's live pinpoint Doppler radar showing a little bit of a renegade shower just south of London, south of Middlesboro. Other than that, we're seeing a clean sweep across the area. But take a look here at the satellite and radar, and you can see exactly what's going on. The big story right now is the cloud cover. Notice how it's starting to creep its way into eastern Kentucky. And there's the rain chance that's going to be in the forecast as we go throughout the next several hours. The heaviest band of rain, though, unfortunately, is going to be off towards the west. And the reason why I say unfortunately is because we really need some rain. We're over an inch for the month. We're over 4 inches for the year. So we need a good soaking. Now, the next 12 hours keeps temperatures in the mid 70s. By 9 o'clock, we'll go to 69 by 3 a.m., 68 by 5 a.m. And when you wake up in the morning, we'll see temperatures in the low to mid 60s. Now, the weekend is knocking on our doorstep, and I'll have that weekend forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Steve.
All right, Eric, thank you. We now know the name of the person who died in yesterday's crash on I-75 in Whitley County. The Whitley County Coroner's Office says 56-year-old David Neese died in the crash. According to KSP's preliminary investigation, Neese lost control of his commercial vehicle while driving north of the interstate. He drove off the road, hitting trees and then flipping over. The northbound lanes were closed for several hours. Neese was not from Kentucky. U.S. Senator Rand Paul will be reintroducing the 6-penny plan. The plan was originally introduced in 2022 as a federal budget plan to get rid of debt within 5 years. Paul says not spending more than what the nation is bringing in is how best to move forward. The goal of the 6-penny plan is to take small amounts off each portion of the budget to decrease the spending overall.
What I would say is, I think you can reduce expenditures without reducing the benefits that people receive, because I think there's so much waste in government. So if you cut a real small amount from a large number, I think that you can still continue to get the health care.
Senator Paul says the plan would cut 6 cents for every dollar of spending and still avoid tax increases. Kentucky state lawmakers are showing their support for a new amendment that could have an impact on upcoming elections. Amendment 1 would make changes to the Kentucky Constitution so only U.S. citizens can vote during elections. This afternoon, several lawmakers gathered on the Capitol steps in Frankfort. State Representative Michael Meredith says this will tie up any loopholes where non-U.S. citizens could possibly vote in local and school board elections. State spokesman Trey Watson says this is not about immigration.
Whether you're an illegal immigrant, somebody here on a green card, a student visa, this is just purely about citizens voting. And I don't think when our Constitution was written in the late 1800s in Kentucky, I doubt that they considered that another state would pass laws that would allow non-citizens to vote in municipal elections.
The amendment will be on the ballot this November. Coming up on First at 4, one small step for man as a billionaire becomes the first commercial spacewalker ever. More on the historic mission.
And in the world of weather, clouds are pushing through eastern Kentucky. Rain chances are in the forecast. We'll talk about that. Plus have the latest on Tropical Depression Francine in just a few minutes. Stay with us.